Good evening, you filthy lot of sim racing junkies. My name is Simon and welcome to GPVWC's broadcast of tonight's Super League race at the Circuit de Catalunya. No, that's not where all the pussies hang out. Or it might be, unless you have a view on the final corner, which is now a little bit pussy-whipped. We are ready for the Spanish Grand Prix. And we've just had the qualifying session. It was very much a 2x2 affair of the two midnight motorsport cars. Out front, Giuseppe Ranieri grabbing pole again, ahead of Nick Rowland, having his first front row start of 2014. Two CSGs behind and the two Hawkeyes. Biff and Sick, Farley Hamnet and Garibaldi having joyous times. Got about a minute left until we get to the warm-up. Couple of addendums from last race's finishing. Menno Clont was retired as he accidentally ran the test car. Oops. Tested that one out, mate. Kenny Libia got a 30-second time penalty added to his race. Though it didn't really change too much, although Kenny's points not so grand. In the Drivers' Championship currently it's David Fidek leading by 6 points from Lewis Redshaw and 11 clear from Giuseppe Ranieri, with a big gap back to Ruud Heesterbeek in 4th position. Lee Morris, Jim Paresis, Nick Rowland, Tom van der Vault, Davidus Missilis and Augustin Canapino round out your top 10 there. In the Constructors, it's CSG well clear of midnight with Nijo in 3rd, Torrent Motorsports in 4th, Kerno in 5th, ahead of Red Archer, Nordzone, Rod Ball, Hawkeye and Target rounding out your top 10 there. Now the story of the upgrades is very much that it swung the way of Midnight Motorsports. They are quite a way clear of the Red Archer team, surprisingly, who are second in terms of actual upgrades available for this race, with Vodball and CSG kind of even Stevens for the 3rd position slots. Nordzone are also looking quite well upgraded here, ahead of Green Stripes, and then it starts to fall off a little bit. And the big surprise is that Target, ST and also Torrent Motorsports are really lagging behind. Into the end of the warm-up then, we'll go through the grid as they go around on the formation lap. You can send us your tweets at #GPVWC so that I can capture any of your thoughts, comments, questions, shenanigans. Your drinking game is the amount of times that I can say the word schnauzer in this race. There's a test for myself. On a perfectly innocent side note, I've just eaten vodka. I've just eaten voodoo flavoured crisps, imported from America. Don't you know? To be fair, they tasted just like chili flavour, but it's the voodoo you do. I wonder what voodoo will be going on out the track today. We're just waiting on Harley Hamnet, who apparently didn't realise that the 5-minute warm-up is for actually going to the toilet. So, all the joys in the world. I don't think he washed his hands. That was a bit too quick. Wet his whistle.
Attention grid, will all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
I wonder if he's going to change his name to Harley Hungit. So, 66 laps of high-octane action. I had a fair bit of fun in the Formula Challenge race, actually. Vaguely competitive. In fact, it was the closest I've been to the front of the grid in terms of time, I think, ever. So I'll give the circuit a hug, even if that final chicane really does need to be killed, and kill it with fire. Giuseppe Ranieri then leads us round on pole position for Midnight Motorsports, ahead of his teammate Nick Rowland. First front row grid slot of the year for the Rolly Pole. 3rd is Lewis Redshaw, ahead of David Fidek on the grid. Then, behind then, it's Garibaldi, just ahead of Harley Hamnet, the two Hawkeyes on row 3, and that could really present what could be their best race so far this season. Tommy Hagen then is in 7th for Red Archer VRT as he continues doing the switcheroos in the Red Archer seat. Ahead of the two Nijos, Ruud Heesterbeek with teammate Tom Vandervoort right behind, and that's good to see after Tom having a difficult start to qualifying in 2014. Augustin Canapino in the top Nord zone rounds out the top 10. Lee Morris in 11th for Kerno in a car that is significantly underpowered. Doing well there to get 11. Ben Horrell in for Red Archer today is in 12th position, a little bit behind his teammate. Then it's Bart de Vos in 13th for Vodball. Toby Davis down in 14th for Nord Zone. Mikhail Tsumala's 15th in for Green Stripes. For a car quite well upgraded, that's a shame that that's their best effort. Jason Muscat in at Kerno for 16th position. Good to see Jason on the grid. Kenny Liebeer 17th for Vodball. Then the two Phoenixes, again struggling with Kieran Ryan 18th, this time just ahead of Boyd Bryson. Those two very evenly matched all year. Danny Asbury in 20th, the top of the Woods guys today. Tommy Kovenen is 21st in the second Green Stripes. Sven de Vries in the very underdeveloped STs in 22nd. Peter Kazas 23rd for Torrent Motorsports. And what is not looking like a fab day for them. Roy Schroeten's 24th for Roods. Mark Fuller in the second ST, making his first start, I think, this season. Replacing Calvin Herms, who is in 25th. Jim Paris is in 26th. Jordan Weeks is in 27th position, and we've already lost one of the target cars, which was Mindergas Columbus, I believe. And he's timed out, and he didn't set a lap in qualifying, nor did Jordan. So that team are very much entering the unknown in a cash-strapped situation as they save for later on developments. Here come the lights then. Who is going to make it round that first chicane? The Spanish Grand Prix is off and away. Beautiful start there by Fidek, who's gone around a lot of them. They're too busy watching. There's a big crash behind. I can see it. Oh my goodness me. It's like Spa, Tumala and Davis practically nose to nose with each other. Both Green Stripes involved as well, and his Weeks. Liebeer is pulled off to the side of the road. Hagen is in the pit wall. Bizarre stuff. Muscat can't even get around turn 1 either, and Asbury's in the wall. Absolute carnage here at the opening of the Spanish Grand Prix. Will it continue? We'll have to wait and see. Fidek leads though currently from Redshaw. Then Ranieri and Rowlands. Both CSGs leapfrog the Midnights. Then it's Boldy, Vandervoort, another fantastic start. Hamlet down to 7. Then Horrell, Canapino, Schroeten from 23rd to 10. Jesus Christicles. The STs are in 11th and 12th. Spencer Brees, then Mark Fuller. Cassa's 13th, Ryan is 14th, Parisis is in 15th, being overtaken by Jordan Weeks for the final points paying position. Then it's Davis and Kovenen, but they're struggling, I think, with issues. Then it's Tumala, Morris, Voss, and then the carnage continues. We've already lost Danny Asbury and Ruud Heesterbeek, both with suspension failures. Asbury disgustedly has already left the game. Not even waiting for a restart there to see if one will happen. I don't think it is. If they parked all their cars, maybe you would have had that, but it's too late to try it now. So, yeah, we'll see what's going on there. But at the end of lap 1, it's Fidek from Redshaw, who's just keeping ahead of Ranieri. Rowland has got Boldy and Vandervoort for company, with Hamlet behind. Horrell, Canapino and Schroeten with De Vries. And then there's Peter Casas taking Mark Fuller for 12th position down to turn 1 and can't do it. Fuller locks up though, and Casa yoinks past and takes 12th position with aplomb. Fuller down to 13th, then it's Ryan and Weeks and co. Big battle though for second as Redshaw struggles to keep Ranieri behind him. Fidek is already getting away as they go around Campster corner, the most stressful corner at high speed, at least anyway, apart from turn 3, which it's not a big corner, but it does put a stress on the tyres. Into the pits and out again. Lee Morris just ahead of Mikhail Tumala, who gets past Bart de Vos exiting the pit lane. De Vos there being very generous. Muscat leaves the pits, as does Bryson. Liebeer and Hagen are only just entering it, so 6 or 7 cars in. And well, poor old Lee Morris was saying that he was hoping he wasn't going to have a game freeze today. And well, that's the least of his worries at the moment. Kieran Ryan's got past Mark Fuller for 13th and 14th positions, as Redshaw continues to defend from Ranieri, and Fidek is getting away in the 10th in between the two CSG guys, after their contact with each other last time out, Viaduct looking so sheepish that you could practically grab a Welshman and say screw that, and he would have done quite happily. But the issue will be is that Redshaw felt slightly upset with all of that. Viaduct's now the one that's pulling away. That's only going to add more tension into the championship challenge. Ranieri though, all over the back, they've got Boyd Bryson ahead. South African driver gets out of the way beautifully. Ranieri still has a look though. Watch out for Roland behind. It'll be very interesting indeed. Everyone is on the option tyres apart from Petakaza in 12th position, as there is, I think it's Hamnet and Van Hook there making a little bit of contact in the background. Everyone on the option tyres and apart from Petakaza in 12th, Jordan Weeks and Jim Paresis, who are 15th and 16th, they're on the prime tyres. Bart de Vos pitted and put on the primes, as did Kenny Lybeer. So most people are on the old options. Ranieri again has a look. Hamnet's having a look at Tom Vandervoort for 6th down to turn 1. Very difficult to do it there though, because it's still fast on entry, although Schroten and De Vries for 10th and 11th are side by side, and I think Sven's going to have him. Indeed he does. And ST up into 10th position. Beautiful there for Sven De Vries. I would laminate that and use it for wank fodder probably. Yeah, I would put it on Instagram. Hashtag only YOLO. As Kieran Ryan takes Casa for 12th and 13th as well. So Bryson, Hagen, Lybeer all lapped. Ranieri, my goodness me, nearly into the back of Redshaw, and Roland's right there with them. Around this clumsy third sector of the Catalunya circuit. Our cameraman extraordinaire Simon Milliwish is turning in his grave, if he had one of course. Not long. What you're saying? I just think that's an effort to just say exactly how stiff he is. Anyway, I'll leave that up to you as to what stiffness I'm referring to. Could be board stiff. You don't know. You don't know these things. I'm just implying that there is blood pulsating somewhere as Redshaw goes a little bit deep. Different lines round turn 5. That Midnight Motorsports car looking much more planted than the CSG. You can see actually the CSG grabs a little bit of curb on the entry to the Campsa corner. Is he going to go for it this time? This is looking good. Right down the inside there. Like Redshaw tries to hang on around the outside to have the inside for the next bit, but Ranieri yoinks the position through. Takes second place away from Lewis Redshaw. And now it is CSG Midnight, and Roland looks like he fancies an attack as well. We have lost though Kenny Lybeer, who has just retired, and Lewis Redshaw, dreadful exit onto the final corner and straight away, and that looks like Nick Roland could well have a go. Is that rain coming down as well, can I see? Little spots of rain on the track as it is raining. Nick Roland then takes third position from Lewis Redshaw as the spots of rain start to fall round the Catalunya circuit. Is this going to go all 1996 on us? Who knows? Everyone gets out their goggles, goes skinny diving. Who is into the... Oh, Mark Fuller there spinning in the final chicane. He's lost out of the points. Into the points then goes Jim Paresis in 15th. Hovenen looks on in 16th. 18th position, Toby Davis versus Lee Morris. Not the two you'd expect on 18th. Toby, my goodness me, that looked like a issue, and Lee Morris gives him a little love nudge on the rear and says, excuse me. Davis having to really defend there. Morris looking like clearly the faster car. 1 minute 5 off as they struggle to get the power down. Squirming the back of the car is Davis on exit. And down the home straight, Morris gets right, sucked up into the slipstream, has a quick sniff on the rear, and then dives through. And he's got his schnauzer right in there. Down the schnauzer. and that does him nicely. There's more changes going on, but De Vos takes Mikhail Tumala for 20th and 21st, that's why. So there's mini change there. There's Redshaw dropping away from Roland. Ranieri reeling in Fidek. My goodness me. It is clash of the quartet at the moment as they're lapping Jason Muscat's Kerno. Vandervoort is still keeping Hamnet behind him in 6th and 7th. Those two are very close. Canapino and Horrell having a scrap over 8th and 9th positions. Now I believe Canapino was behind Ben Horrell at some point. So they have swapped around. However, everyone's favourite suite is still ahead of Ben the Horrible. A bit like Haggard, the Horrible. Spencer Reese in 10, then Schroten, Kieran Ryan, Petter Kazza, Jordan Weeks, Jim Parisis. Then it's Coven and Fuller. Morris now well clear of Davis. De Vos and Tumala are still scrapping. De Vos clearly not understanding where the racing track was there on the exit of the chicane. Tumala's in it, and they've got to watch because they're about to be lapped actually by our leaders. As Ranieri takes 4/10 of a second off in the last second in a row, in 2 sectors in a row, sorry, and takes the fastest lap of the race. Tumala and De Vos keep their little scrap behind. Now takes a very generous look out the way there. And allows Fidek and Ranieri through. Not Roland, not Redshaw. They dropped 3 and a bit seconds back, and De Vos extremely compliant as well with Fidek and with Ranieri. Round camps up. Oh, what was that? Right, that was Tumala getting out of the way. I thought someone had really done it wrong there, but De Vos has done it very wrong with Nick Rowland. As Redshaw and Boldy go through. Careful, 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 boys. Side by side, De Vos and Tumala. Oh my goodness me. They just don't know when to quit. Somehow makes it round the chicane. Good driving by the pair of them. Jason Muscat's now caught onto the back of this scrap. Would you believe it's over 20th position? No. As Bart gets into the slipstream. Beautiful driving by these two. Yoinks it back. Is Tumala going to have a second schnauzer back through on the inside? No, he go. In fact, he completely misses all apexes. All the apexes are missed. Now Jason Muscat fancies a little nibble on the rear as well. Tommy Hagen on Mark Fuller for 17th. Oh no, sorry. That is Tommy Hagen trying to lap Mark Fuller, is it? Not entirely sure. Fuller doesn't appear to be getting out of the way though. So. Ah yes, Hagen is a lap down to Fuller. Sorry, that's my fault. Hagen is last, 24th. So, apologies there to Mark. It's not your remit to get out of the way. As Ranieri onto the back of Fidek then, lap 9 of 66. More traffic ahead. Torby Davis. Onto the start-finish straight they go. Ranieri does another fastest lap. And they come into turn 1, Ranieri looking menacing. Nico Schweinzer? Oh dear. There's a name I'll get wrong later, especially after some alcohol. Who should I be rooting for, he says. Well, I can't give you any idea of that, unfortunately, because I'm the commentator and I have to be as impartial as I possibly can. However, there's a lot of good men out there. And I'll root for any of them, especially if they give me joy. As Davis not getting out of the way for Fidek and Ranieri, is this going to cause an issue as they come around camps are still not out of the way? Fidek needs to fight his way through. Ranieri keeping a watching brief. Is he going to let the pair of them through? He does so indeed. But my goodness me, he made them work for it. Ranieri runs out a bit wide and that could well give Fidek a couple of seconds breathing space. It also gives Ranieri a clear run to just get right onto the back of him for the chicane without having to think about any of it. Lee Morris is the next one up to be lapped. There's a lot of tyre marks there, as if to suggest someone has spun off into the pit lane. So I'll keep an eye to see who that is. Ranieri on the back of Fiduk. Look at the way how the suction just comes up onto the back, side by side. Turn one they go. Ranieri later on the brakes. Beautiful move into the lead. Fastest lap. Job done. We're out of here. We'll see you for another broadcast. Not really. Ranieri then leads the way on lap 11 of 66. Legs 11. He's got the legs on the field from David Fiduk. Nick Rowland is 2 seconds further back, and he's catching Fiduk quite happily too. Redshaw is clean on just about 2 seconds further back. Then it's Gergo Baldi in 5th, who's doing very well for Hawkeye. Tom Vandervoort's on 6th, but he looks under pressure still from Harley Hamnet, and Hamnet is really hounding the back of Vandervoort at the moment. Nijo versus Hawkeye. Harley needs a good result. He's had some real missed opportunities and some terrible luck. Vandervoort has always been left clinging on to what has been generally very, very good starts, and then has been trying to keep on with the pace afterwards. Not a one-lap specialist is Tom, which Bart so generously gets out of the way. The Bart man. Do the Bart man. Horrell is doing 9. Sven de Vries still in 10th. Being closed down slowly but surely by Kieran Ryan though. Roy Schroeting's in 12th behind him. Then it is Casa, Weeks and Paresis. And we've lost. Toby Davies is crashed out in the Norge zone, so disaster is here. He comes. Harley, 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 Harley. Oh, look at that. I'm not sure if that's him trying to scoop the car up or not, or if that's him just saying, nope, you ain't coming through. But he's through and he's up to 6th. Now Hawkeye 5-6. Vandervoort down to 7th. And the sole remaining Nijo in the race, teammate Ruud Heesterbeek, taken out on the start line accident. And to think of it, he was the highest placed car actually in that start line accident. But it makes me wonder if it was Ruud that started the chain reaction off. We have it unconfirmed, but it may have been a Red Archer actually spinning on the grass. So we will see. Horrell is in 9th, which kind of points the finger at Tommy Hagen. So we will see. Mikael Timala's just crashed out as well. So that is retirement number 5, 22 remaining. The 27 that took the start. My goodness me, it's a walking wounded field that we've got. Yeah, it says suspension retirement next to Tamala, but apparently he did actually just pull into the pits. So we'll get the lowdown on Mr. Tamala later on. Fiduk and Rowland have got a Mark Fuller between them. Lapped. Oh, yeah, struggling to get out of the way there as well. It is quite difficult, some of these places on this track, to get out of the way nicely. Why you generally do it before those corners. Reese is not too far ahead of Jordan Weeks actually in the battle for the final points paying positions, with Tommy Covenant reeling the pair of them in. Fuller now out of the points. Then it's Lee Morris 18, DeVos 19, Muscat 20th, Bryson's 21st. Hagen is the last lap runner left in 22nd for Red Archer. As Kieran Ryan is on the back of Sven de Vries with 10th and 11th positions. And how nice is it to see ST running solidly in the points. And Kieran, ever the wild thing, is Kieran Ryan, the wild child. I'd recommend, if you've still got that fringe that says it shows on Facebook, that might probably be getting in the way when you're going around long corners. And therefore maybe a little choppage might be in order to make sure you can see out your helmet. Anyway, enough talkers of helmets on this broadcast, otherwise we'll be taken to some seedy bar. So, Phoenix, now they have scored 11 points this year so far, but that car has had some really good upgrades. Again, it's been very much a missed opportunity. I think especially it was in Bahrain where that car, Kieran Ryan, doesn't really stay on the track there. That car was like the third best or second best, and they looked quite decent enough in qualifying, and it all fell apart in the race. Hope the same doesn't happen to the Phoenix guys here today. SG yet to get off the board at all. One of two teams to do so, the others is Green Stripes. Is that Horrell or is it Boldy? It's Boldy that's in issue. Boldy's down positions. Oh, is that contact with Ben Horrell? Van der Vault into the pits, but Gergo Boldy lost out too somewhere along the line. I don't know if he pitted or not. Let's just take a wee look. Oh yes, he did. Don't mind me. Very early, I'm not quite sure what's to be gained on that. He was very much on his own at the time, and he's come out a couple of seconds behind Canapino, so he may run into traffic on that run. Kieran Ryan in the pits as well, from what was 12th. Tom van der Vault has been into the pits and has rejoined in 9th. He's gone to the prime tyres though, so he's looking like doing a big split as Fiduk and Ranieri both in this lap, lap 15 of 66, and Redshaw. Both CSGs in together. Is that going to cause a pit box problem, I wonder? Uh-oh. Oh, it is! They're going to have to pit side by side. Oh, dearie me. This calls into problems for CSG potentially. I did see, actually, a tweet yesterday from Lewis Redshaw saying, as Morris and Fuller are in, this is clearly the lap that everyone wants to stop, saying, ain't no problem pitting side by side. And I thought, is that something that they're referring to that happened yesterday? Maybe it was a foreshadow of what's going on today. Horrell into the pits from what is currently 8th as well. So everyone diving in, that to me makes me think 3 stop. Entirely sure whether that should be the case or not. Ben de Vries up to 9th for the time being as he laps his teammate on lap 16 of 66. The Nick Rowland is in this time from the lead, does the usual cutting of the pit lane entry. I'm not brave enough to do it late. Covenant in as well. Where is Rowland going to rejoin in relationship to Lewis Redshaw? Because Ranieri has got the lead, and that's Rowland coming out side by side with Fiduk. He's nearly got him there. Crikey's calls. Great stuff by the Midnight Motorsport team. They have closed the gap down on David Fiduk, and Rowland is now very much into play. Redshaw is in 4th position. Little spots of rain appear. Let's see whether or not it will increase or decrease. Boldy then in 5th. Hamnet is into 6th position. Has he stopped though? Can't remember. Then actually doesn't look like he has. Van der Vault's in 7th, then Canapino in 8th, who has just stopped. Horrell is into 9th. Sven de Vries in the pits currently in 10th ahead of Schroten. Kassa continues on and moves into 10th. He's one of the few that started on the prime tyres. And is Kieran Ryan going to jump Sven de Vries and keep ahead of Roy Schroten as he comes down the start finish straight for the battle for 11th? Ryan versus de Vries. Ryan's got the momentum, but de Vries has 11th position. So long as he can get his tyres back up to temperature, that battle will be back on again. Jim Paresis, who's yet to pit, up to 13th position ahead of Schroten and Weeks. Muscat and co all lapped, and we've just lost Boyd Bryson. He's just crashed out in the Phoenix F1, and that was he lost his front right wheel there. So issues for the Phoenix F1 driver. He becomes another retirement, down to 21 drivers now. Dropping la flies. ass. And such. Lap 18 of 66. Ranieri, Fiduk, Rowland, Redshaw, Boldy, Hamlet. Vandervoort, Canapino, Horrell and Cassie are 10th. Kieran Ryan immediately onto the back then as centre recently battled for 11th and 12th positions in this race, which will become 10th once Cassie pits. And he won't be for a while. That's Tommy Hagan into the pits as they pass through. And not quite got the legs on him, but look at the way they're going around turn 3. Completely different lines, intentional or not. Kieran using a lot of tyre energy, swerving out to have a look. Make sure that when he does make the move, it's precise and controlled. Although Sven looks like he is the slower of the two cars, certainly looks the most consistent of the two at the moment. Rowland's still keeping a watching brief and Fiduk, just 0.8 of a second between them, so I'll keep an eye on that one as well while we're at it. Kieran all over the back of De Vries again. Watch out when he's coming from behind. The overshoot. I've got a few stories on that. We'll save that for later. De Vries then has got Kieran Ryan breathing all over his rear end, and he's just diving through, and that's way too late on the brakes. That was... I like to use the word ambitious. Oh dear. Doing the old Euro tour across all the countries. There's Kieran straight onto the back again though. For another go. It's good to see. Oh, Nick Rowland's all over the back of David Fiduk as they're lapping Roy Troughton, who's directly behind these two. Troughton gets out of the way for the pair. Rowland's slightly wrong-footed into that fast chicane, which has got a horrible gradient in it that I hate. It makes me feel really uncomfortable going into that corner as De Vries and Ryan side by side, 11th and 12th again. De Vries retakes the position, Ryan doing another stab up the inside. They've got to be careful now because Ranieri's on the back as Ryan has another stab, and if that would have gone wrong, that would have caused issues for the leaders. The one to the back straight, lend out the throttle maybe. And tuck right back in behind Ranieri and see if you can have a go. But no, they're too busy battling side by side again. Kieran's going to have a go, brake a little better this time. Indeed he does. De Vries lets him through, lets by the leader too. Ranieri then up in past. Ryan gets out of the way. Can De Vries do anything about him? No, he cannot. Ryan up to 11th. De Vries to 12th. Nice moves. What is Fiduk up to with Rowland? Rowland's right there. Again, the gap's about half a second. Start to get into that awkward zone then. Where do you make the move? Theory, that Midnight Motorsport car could be potentially up to a second faster than the CSG. I say potentially because I don't have exact specifications on how much each upgrade of the car does what around each circuit with each driver, to be fair. As Petakaza pits for his first stop, puts on the option tyres, rejoins in 12th position, just going to beat out Roy Troughton, but only just. Troughton may have a go at him actually. Around turn 3, top from 13th. I think Roy would quite happily take points for Woods at the moment. As Bart DeVos has got round. That's because Jim Priest is pitted. That's why, or he's not pitted, but DeVos, Morris, and Covenant have got round Jim. So. Tough times for Torren as they look forward to the future. Tough times continue for David Fidek though. Second position, championship leader. He's got Nick Rowland still stalking his every move, slightly further off than what he was a lap ago. Probably pays to drop back a little bit and just conserve your tyres. We noticed this evening in the FC races actually, that were held on Tuesday in far less powerful cars, that your tyre degradation was actually, it felt so much more when you were just following the car around. I don't know if that was really true or not, but psychologically it felt like it was going a lot faster. Lewis Redshaw now 3 seconds back from Nick Rowland, but he is 6 clear of Gergo Baldi, who's 15 clear of Harley Hamnet. Then Tom van der Vault has got just over 2 seconds clear of, in fact just under 2 seconds clear of Augustin Canapino, who's slowly reeling him in actually. We'll keep an eye on that. Horrell's the last unlapped person in 9th position, would you believe? Then a lap down is Kieran Ryan 10, Zafries is 11, Kazza is 12, Schroten 13, DeVos 14, Lee Morris now up into the points in 15th, Jordan Weeks down to 16th, Tommy Covenant to 17, Jim Paresis pitted in 18th position, Jason Muscat is 19, Mark Fuller is 20th, then 2 laps down now is Tommy Hagan in the Red Archer VRT. But it's worthwhile staying out there because you could still yoink a point or two with the rate of what people are chucking their cars off. And there's quite a few damaged ones out there, and that could see an engine or two let go later on in this race maybe. In terms of the championship though, what this does do is increase David Fidek's advantage if they finish exactly how they are. I know we're not at half distance yet, but it's interesting to note that because I don't know if David Fidek would have necessarily been everyone's championship leader top thought, but especially at this stage in the championship as well. So. Oh, Fuller's round, right in front of Fidek and Rowland. They didn't have to avoid it. Is he going to hit someone else? Pulled right in front of Redshaw. And my goodness me, Mr. Fuller is certainly making things interesting on his return to racing. Someone else is in issues as well. That's Bart DeVos has dropped down to 17th position. Now Jordan Weeks into the points target. Rowland still talking Fidek. Takes far more curb into that hairpin. This is by far the closest that he's been so far. For a good few laps. This is going to be the one. Lap 25 completed, on to lap 26 then. Ranieri, 4 seconds clear of Fidek. Rowland right up into the slipstream. Look at the way out in the second half of that straight. He just gets sucked up, pulls out runs alongside. He's already got the car through. If he can just get on the brakes perfectly, he does so indeed. Nick Rowland up into second position. Lovely clean stuff by the Brit. Now all of a sudden it's a Midnight Motorsports 1-2. You wouldn't have thought it, but that's the first time that it's been happened in 2014. Especially after the strength of what's happened last couple of seasons with Midnight. Gergo Baldi into the pits again. Lap 25. Is he four stopping? That's going to be amazing for Gergo if he's going to be going for that, because it's not the normal method. Ranieri really locking up and actually running out wide in the hairpin. He's clearly pushing. The fact that Nick Rowland is only 4.6 behind at this stage in the race is testament to Nick that actually he is very much holding his own in that Midnight Motorsports seat. Went in at the very last moment. Was not the preferred driver of choice. And I think today he is showing, given a little time to mature into that seat, like a blue cheese. Gets his flavour on. And to be fair, who wouldn't want a little munch on Rowland? Jim Paresis has crashed out. In Turret Motorsports, he is out of the race. That's a shame for Jim. He was outside the points. And now that leaves us just 20 runners and riders remaining. Tommy Hagen, the last of them. Could this be the race where actually if you finish you score points? This is the kind of races that ST and Green Stripes live for. Possibly Target as well, given the lack of updates to that car. Ranieri pushing on. Rowland 4.2 is actually closed in on Giuseppe this lap. That's interesting. What's it as he cross over the line? 4.1. We'll see how that one develops. Vidoc's still with them though in third, just 9/10 off. 4 seconds clear of Lewis Redshaw. Harley Hamnet ahead of Gergo Baldi, but Baldi has stopped twice. I'm really intrigued to see what on earth his strategy is, and if that's down to the fact that he's choosing that strategy, or if he just feels that actually the tyres don't work for him because he's too aggressive or something like that. We will soon find out. Tom Vandervoort still on the prime tyres. 7th position, it's working well for him, and Canapino not really closing in. 2 seconds behind still. He appears to have held that threat off. Orrell's into 9th. Kieran Ryan then lapped in 10 with De Vries, Kasser, Schroeter, Morris and Weeks your point scorers at the moment. As things quieten down on the Spanish... Oh no, it doesn't. Mark Fuller. Bart de Vos has just retired. And as rain starts to spit again, that's a disconnection from Bart de Vos down into the hairpin. That poor guy. Oh dear. It's not the game, it's the internet. I swear you should need to get yourselves a service provider, my good man. Never luck at all. So as we drop now down to 19 drivers, only 4 of these will not score. Unlucky for some. It really is only going to be some. Who will be left at the end? We're not even at half distance, it's crazy. These are the kind of races that I excel in, when no one else finishes. Makes me feel warm and centred inside. Unlike the amazing Cadbury cake that came out recently, this week or last week, which I yummed up last night. If anyone's had the Toblerone cake, which is equally gorgeous. And there's another cake really similar to it. And I keep wanting to say the Dime Bar cake, but it's not. But you'll know what I mean when you look at it, because they all look the same. The Milka cake looks quite similar as well. It's like a moussey, almondy, gâteau-y thing. It's nice. Thoroughly recommend. Me and the other half halved it, actually, because we're just fat bitches. Can't really say any more than that. But fun was had by all. Morris into the pits from 14th position in the Colonel. Track looks a little bit darker in places, but I'm not entirely sure why, because it doesn't appear to be raining anywhere. Morris is going to get out still in 14th position. Jordan Weeks is just pulling onto the start-finish straight now. Nicely done there for Morris. Viaduct now in from 3rd position, along with Ben Horrell, who's exiting the pits. Viaduct enters. Interestingly, the Midnights continue on again side by CSG. Why are they doing this? It just seems too risky for its own good. All it takes is for a little clumsy clonk on the wheels, which when you're driving that slowly is really easier to do than probably what it is if you're actually going flat out and crazy. As Kieran Ryan's in as well from what was 10th position. It just seems like an unnecessary risk to me, and I wonder if that is more of the fallout of I'm not pitting later, I'm not doing that strategy. I'm just talking up some really horrible hate fest between the two guys. We've got to have scandal on here somewhere. I'm not doing this anymore if there's not scandal. There's everyone's favourite Pizzasaurus, Giuseppe Ranieri. Rain by name, not rain by nature. Although there has been rain in the airy for Giuseppe Ranieri during this race. Ba-boom. The way I tell him. So Nick Rowland then leads. Oops. Another lap on Jordan Weeks. Reminds me of when I used to do the cross-country run at school, and the PE teacher used to say, Simon, we don't actually need a stopwatch for you, we need a calendar. I can say personally I decided that next time I'd stop off at the shops on the way. I took the 107% rule to just mean waist size. So I aimed to stay within 107% of my belt. 3 laps down, then Mark Fuller. Use that into the pitteroo. Couldn't quite see. Rowland, that's it. And he switches onto the primes, which is different from what Ranieri, Viaduct and Redshaw have done. He's looking for a final sprint. About just alongside Ben Horrell. I might as well just let him through. No. Maybe I'm too passive. Good. Maldololdo. Hop. I do prefer these cars to the look of the F1 cars. No walrus noses to tip anyone into a roll at the exit of pits. Cameraman Extraordinaire just talking about Game Stock Cars releasing a 2014 mod of the F1. And apparently the cars look nice. I'll believe it when I see it. As Augustin Canapino exits the pits. And Tom Vandervoort has not pitted. Obviously he's on different compound tyres. But he gets out in 8th, well clear of Horrell in 9th. No big battles going on at the moment at the Spanish Grand Prix. 19 remain of the 27 that started. Send us in your tweets with hashtag GPVWC. That would be very nice, thank you very much. Let me know that you are watching. Oh, there we go. I'll believe it when I see it. Oh, I like. Yeah, that's good actually. Biffy gives the seal of approval at half distance at the Spanish Grand Prix. Unlike the ability for some of these cars to stay on the track. Which does not get my seal of approval at all. It's been quite poopy. Tom Vandervoort exits the pits. Where's he coming out in relation to Canapino? I think Canapino's going to get the jump. Is he not? No, he's not. Vandervoort gets out ahead. Stays in 7th. And he's stayed on the prime tyres again. So he's gone option prime. Interesting. We did find actually that, there's a change going on with Fidek and Roland. Roland there loses out. Obviously tyre affected. But Fidek goes through into 2nd position. Nice little passy down at turn 1. The tyres are different. Oh, actually there was contact between the two. A little bit of a love nudge into the side pod there, Fidek versus Roland. That one will be closely monitored, I am sure. 6 seconds off of Ranieri, who is not Ranieriing off with the lead, to be fair. Seconds isn't a massive margin. All that takes is an errant backmarker brigade car to be spinning in front of you. Oops. Jason Muscat pops into the pits. Now how would we spice up the GPVW? Because we don't have DRS, we don't have KERS, or ERS, or ERS, as it will probably be next year as they try to lose another letter of it. It'll just be an or S. However, we do have beautiful sounding engines. I quite like the V6 sounds. They just need a little speaker cone on the side of each of the things. Jimmy Hagan has got past Mark Fuller, actually, unseen by us, in a battle for the wooden spoon. Fuller's now gone 3 laps down. He'll end up 6 down at this rate. Wow, I've not seen the field spread out like this for quite some time. It's a bit of a shock, actually. And it's the first one on my own. So, this could be time for some Simon ramblings. Been long overdue after some action-packed races this season. You just make sure there isn't at least something going on. Oh, Oh, Canapino and Van der Voort actually are quite close for 7th and 8th. Let's hold off on the dodgy comments that get us always into trouble. As Lee Morris has got round Sven de Vries as well actually. But Sven de Vries down to 13th position. Those points starting to look a little bit smaller and a little bit more threatened, I must say. Petter Kazer's not too far up the road either, so that'll be interesting. Tom van der Voort and Augustin Canapino trying to lap Roy Schroten, who gets out of the way for the pair of them in the battle for 7th and 8th positions. They're half a minute off Harley Hamnet in the Hawkeye. They really are in a battle of their own, because Ben Horrell in 9th position in the Red Archer is still coming down towards turn 1 and they're going around turn 4. It is a little duo. Van der Voort on the prime tyres again. Just getting whispered by cameraman extraordinaire himself that a lot of drivers, and it was myself included actually, struggled with the temperature and the thermal degradation in the tyres here. It's the first track that I've actually gone to where the tyres I've kind of thought, oh, actually I'm in real trouble, as Giuseppe Ranieri pops a lap on Augustin Canapino. I have to do the same with Van der Voort very shortly. Much difficult to do in Sector 3, and I wonder where he'll do it. Start finish straight then. Now would be a good time. Yoink! Nicely done. Keeps Canapino behind him. But yeah, we found that the temperature of the tyres would kind of start to fall off at about 105 degrees. And often, if you was using the options with the best setup that we could get anyway, or that I could get, our tyres were at 108, so we'd have to compromise our setup slightly to make sure that we could actually get round more than 10 laps. I wonder if that's a problem that Gergo Boldy's having actually. He's currently in 5th and he's in the pits again. That's lap 38, so he's done 12. Yeah. 12, 26, 38. He must be for stopping as Harley Hamnet gets out just ahead of him down to turn 1. A little bit of a sphincter move there for Hawkeye. As Canapino and Van der Voort now get the scrapperooing on. Van der Voort goes into the middle of the track. Canapino tries to the inside and the outside before the chicane. And Tom now having to really drive in his mirrors to make sure that he can keep the Nordzone racing car behind him. Onto the start finish straight they go. Augustin looks close. This could be where the slipstream gets sucked up. Gets right onto the back, gives his schnauzer a little sniff of the rear wings, says no thank you. Van der Voort squeezes him right to the inside, there's contact between the two, oh my goodness me, Canapino runs in deep, Van der Voort retakes the place on the switcheroo, but my goodness me, there was contact, very reminiscent of what happened with Fiduk and Roland, except this time there actually seems to be a fallout of that. More spots of rain continue to appear, and Lee Morris has done. Oh, it's Roy Schroten, I think. He's been off the track or into the pits because he's now suddenly down a few positions. But yeah, rain still falling. That's probably the longest it's fallen, more than several corners. Let's see how it develops. But Tom van der Voort. Oh, Augustin, where was that coming from? Oh my goodness me. Gets very tank slappery on the exit. He was definitely driving to my humps as he was showing around his rear wing. Rain still dripping down, but it's only leaking slightly as again he gets a wiggle on the exit. Clearly he's hit the second chorus on my humps as he comes down the start finish straight. Little spitty as David Fiduk wants to now lap the duo. Canapino, in fact he does do well to let him by. How will this rain continue? The answer is it doesn't. That's that then. That's life, that is. Think on. as Tom Vanderbilt gets out of the way of Fidut quite nicely. But well, Augustin Canapino came from miles back for a lunge. Good job Tom saw that one coming. He saw it coming on the previous lap as well. So round Campser and Tom there getting a little bit of a slidey on. As Gergo Boldy gets round Harley Hamnet for 5th and 6th positions. It was just before the far chicane as well, so I don't think that was a unplanned manoeuvre. So, round 3, ding 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 ding. Onto the start finish straight goes Tom Vanderbilt and Augustin Canapino. They've got some lap traffic they'll have to contend with quite soon if this doesn't happen for them. Vanderbilt goes to the middle, he's doing another squeeze. Canapino's again having to do the same thing. He's late on him even further. Oh my goodness me. Nearly collecting and spinning around, but somehow getting away with it. But that was more than a love tap. Vanderbilt on the grass trying to let Roland through. That could have been messy. And down into 8th position goes Tom Vanderbilt. Augustin Canapino forced his way through into 7th. And you're going to it's that kind of corner where you are going in at 90 degrees effectively, because it's not a gentle in as someone's off the track. That like the green stripes to me. It's Tommy Kovanen, 18th position, 3 laps down. That car looks slightly damaged. And let's see what happened to him, because I think he's hit a barrier somewhere. And if he hasn't, he's been very lucky. Oh no, he's just missed it. But yeah, on the grass, in fact he did hit the barrier because he's missing a front wing. That is, well, that Green Stripes car is capable of better things, and it looks like Green Stripes are on for a 0 points haul, whereas ST, currently in the hands of Sven de Vries, are sitting on 3 points. As ding ding round 4, is Tom Vanderbilt steaming through? Indeed he is. Oh no no no, missed the anti-cut just. Canapino says I'll have that back, thank you very much. Into 7th position, and well, Tom on the prime tyres, Canapino on the options, but this one is certainly not done yet. Mentioned to Tommy Hagen, who's the next one up the road, actually does seem to have vaguely good pace when he's running in clear air, because they're not catching him massively quickly, but he's going to have to move out of the way very shortly. We'll get the blue flags, and there he does so. Here we go, the pair. Well done, Tommy. I wonder what kind of run, if any, Vanderbilt will have this time by. It looks like he's bent his load a bit too early. A lap or two to recover if he can. Oh, Lee Morris versus Petacasa. He takes 11th position down into turn 1. Petacasa down to 12th. The recovery of the Kernel driver. 2 laps down. Up into 11th. Sven de Vries 13, Schroten 14. Jason Muscat in the second Kernel has got himself up to 15th. So Jordan Weeks now out the points in the target. And he said Torrent then, much to the horror of the team pass. Then it's Tommy Hagen 3 down with Mark Fuller. Kovanen 4 down. He has rejoined with a new front wing, and it's worthwhile doing because, quite frankly, he only needs 4 retirements, be automatically scoring even if he drags the car home kicking and screaming. Massive field spread here. Even with the crash at the start as well, the actual lap gaps between the teams feel larger here than what they have been at other events. As what was that changing? Oh, it's Lee Morris into the pits, that's why. So Kazza up to 11 and to Fries up to 12. Maybe Schroten to 13th, maybe. There's Lewis Redshaw has started to reel in Nick Rowland. The prime tired Nick Rowland will be going longer. Those tyres are not built, well, they are built to last. Keep an eye on that. Great question actually from Andreas Walters there for us. How do we see the development of the cars will go from here? And will we see the back markers come back into play, or will they be in trouble for the rest of the season? And I think that is going to be very dependent actually, Andreas, on how they're viewing this season as a whole. The way how the team structures work is that you get money based on your results and so on and so forth, and each component you get seems to have upgrades available. And you purchase those upgrades based on the cash flow that you've had from, that you've kept going from either a previous season or a previous race. As Roland, oh yeah, they're both in the pits again, both CSGs, Fidek and Redshaw. I don't get this at all. It's confusing me no end. Oh, and Redshaw's overshot it! Oh dear, he shot his bolt a bit too soon. That is more frustration there for Redshaw. I can hear him in my head, kicking himself. And Fidek gets out in third, and that just, if anything, demonstrates to me that pitting side by side is a poor decision to make. Well, I think there will probably be a video on YouTube of that to the Benny Hill theme at some point, much to Redshaw and Brittany's chagrin, because it certainly won't be to a Brittany shot. Unless, has he ever overshot the pit lane before? Because otherwise we can put it to oops, I did it again. Our favourite Britney pop star lady man. Lady boy. Actually no, we'll save that for another escapade. Hawkeyes are still relatively close together, but we'll keep an eye on the Midnight Motorsports, neither of which have pitted this time by. To finish off Andreas' question, it's very much dependent on the money that they've had beforehand and how much they're carrying over. And some teams may consider, as Kieran Ryan pits from 11th, what they want out of this season and whether or not they're prepared to sacrifice this season for next season to therefore have a bigger cash budget maybe, and therefore be able to make a full attack on next year. One of the things that's very difficult to do is to be a vaguely front-running team consistently, because you're going to have to constantly pay out for upgrades, but not necessarily gain all of the prize money back for having semi-decent results. So it's a lot of swings and roundabouts and forward planning for the future, if that be immediately or future 2015. I think we're going to have a mixture of the two, where some people will just cut development on this year's car, cut their losses and go, right, this hasn't worked for us, as Tommy Kovanen has crashed out and retired from 19th place, leaving us with just 18 to go. Not as if it's some kind of elimination event, but we've only got 18 left. Giuseppe Ranieri in the pits as well, which passes the lead to Nick Rowland. Going to be out well clear of the CSGs. So I think we're going to have a mixture of the two, and I think some teams will fall further away where they're not going to be upgrading their car and focusing more on next year. Some of the other teams I think will just add token updates, because they'll know that actually if they can sniff a few points here and there, it will boost them in the overall points rankings. I think it will be very different compared to how it was last year, where the field were massively closed up by the time you got to, say, Britain. And you was effectively 2 seconds recovery. Oh, Ranieri's off! What happened there? I think he had a game freeze. That was bizarre. He came out of turn 5 and just kind of didn't accelerate. Pulled over to the side. It was like the steering didn't work either. He's back going again though. He had 6-second advantage, but I'm sure that some of that will not be the case now. Must have cost him a good 3 or 4 seconds. So he's street. Oh yeah, that's a good point from Simon Mellowish, the cameraman, who is always being dragged kicking and screaming through these races, whether he likes it or not. the moment, poor guy. But Giuseppe streams his races, and we wonder if maybe if there was lag involved or something like that, or if it went a bit haywire, he just had to quickly turn it off and then get back going again. To have 6 seconds advantage to be able to choose and do that on as he comes round to pop a lap on Sven de Vries for the second time. Nick Rowland now has a 16.6 second advantage. Slightly shorter than a pit stop, but I tell you what, that's much closer than what it was going to be. He'll also have the options for the final stint, because Ranieri is now on the primes, as is Fidek and Redshaw. Boldy is still on the options, and he's yet to pit on the primes, so he's going to have to do a full stop, definitely. Harley Hamnet is into the pits, and is going on to primes now. I wonder if that is going to change the face of the race, and what will Midnight do if Nick Rowland comes a knocking on Ranieri's door. Nick Rowland team boss, Giuseppe Ranieri leader in the Drivers' Championship charge of those two. Very early doors, obviously, but one wonders if they'll be allowed to race fully or not. 18.2 seconds the gap now. It is swinging further and further to Nick Rowland's favour. This has been a real slow burner here at this Spanish Grand Prix. 18.3 for Ranieri last lap. Nick Rowland done a 1:16.754. My goodness me, are we about to see Nick Rowland pull an absolute coup out of the bag? 50 of 66. They're both on the primes. Less fuel, and in he comes. Not in the intro. Brakes for the pit box. Just about gets it in. Into the box itself. Ranieri going through the final chicane now. Ooh. That looked like a weird false start getting out of the pits. It's all starting to look a bit awkward for Midnight here on the option tyres. Roland trundles down the pit road. Ranieri is going to take the lead just as he gets on the accelerator, but it is going to be prime tyres versus option tyres. Roland comes out just behind. They're in sight of each other for the first time in several laps. Game is so much on. I am getting a little bit moist. Fidek then third position, Redshaw fourth. Baldi is in fifth as he pits, and he goes for the prime tyres. Very slow stop actually. It felt slow to me anyway. Harley Hamnet could be interested in that fifth position because they separated it back out again a bit. Hamnet must have had a bit of a slow couple of laps because they were only 2 seconds apart. Van der Vault's in 7, about to be lapped. Canapino's in 8th, Horrell's 9, Cassa's in 10th. He got his prime stint out the way straight away. Top 10 then still for Cassa at the moment. De Vries is in 11th, Kieran Ryan's back behind him again in 12th. Not quite sure what happened there. Lee Morris in 13th behind the pair of them as well. Jason Muscat's now in 14. Roy Schroten's into 15th for Wood Racing. Slowly dropping down the order. Then our 3 people that aren't scoring at the moment. Jordan Weeks, Tommy Hagen and Mark Fuller. And Tom van der Vault is not letting Giuseppe Ranieri go. What's going on here as Sven de Vries pits? That was quite a way ago because when nearly half a lap he got stuck behind. Not in a massive battle with Canapino anymore, so I'm not quite sure what all that is about, but that has pushed the gap down to well under 2 seconds. Of course, Nick Rowland will now have to deal with Tom van der Vault, although he's going to catch him potentially down into the hairpin, so that could be a... Yeah, Tom gets well out of the way there, so... If that's just a case of forgot my mirrors, governor. So 1.5 seconds then the gap between Ranieri and Rowland as they come into sector 3. Petacazza's the next one up for them to lap. He dives off into the pit, so that's nice and fortunate. Clean running from the pair of them. Yassa could very well benefit actually from going onto the option tyres for one final flurry of activity. The last fifth of the race. Indeed what he does. Kieran Ryan will move up into 10th position for the time being. Lee Morris right behind him actually in 11th. Not right behind, it's a couple of seconds gap. And Casa will get out ahead of Centre Vries, so 12th for him. Not bad going at all. 1.3 now the advantage. Nick Rowland slowly eating in. Like the skinny going class who's never sniffed a praline chocolate before. Once you get your first taste of the lead, you just want to keep on digging in. I was a skinny girl once. Not a skinny girl, you know what I mean. Was I the skinny? No! Actually, you tell lies. I was born fat. My nan, she was a stone when she was bought? Oh my god! We bought my nan on the black market. It all comes out in the wash now. When she was born, she was a stone. All I can think of is poor great nanny. There's Tom van der Voort pits from 7th. Been like giving birth to a pineapple. Ain't the prickly pear that I want to have. So 1.3, the gap between Giuseppe and Rowland. How very Bahrain 2014 F1 is all I'm going to say. Ranieri locks up slightly. 1.277 the advantage. Second sector. Start to hit the dirty air around now. As at that point you've really got to push through. Like giving birth to a one stone baby. See, it all goes full circle. It's all planned. I have vouched though that next broadcast will require alcohol. Oh yeah, it's Monaco actually. Oh yay. Yay for the world. Lee Morris about to take Kieran Ryan for 10th position. Kieran Ryan goes defensive. This is two mean aggressors. That, oh my goodness me, Kieran Ryan. There's a car there. Lee Morris forces his way through. Regardless of what on earth was going on. That was balls to the walls. Mr. Morris. Nicely done. Kieran Ryan using all of the track and a smidgy bit more. To 11th. I think that will still be his best result so far of 2014. So plenty to take away from today for the Phoenix F1 team. And ST still on for 3 points with Sven de Vries as well. I'll keep my beady eye, a 1/16th of an eye, on that 13th position. As the gap shrinks again. Like an Eskimo going skinny dipping. We're down to under a second now. Jason Muscat coming round to be Lapperood. The third time in the Colonel. Now outside the points. And actually, Schroeter and Weeks are battling over 14th and 15th. Just a couple of seconds up the road from them. So the last 3 points paying positions. The last 2 points paying positions are very much up for debate, and Jason Muscat would quite like the pair of them to be behind him. So it's going to be an interesting end for that squabble. And also to make sure that they see the leaders coming. Oh, Roland! Tell you what, Nick Rowland knows how to take a sausage. He managed to survive that curb with aplomb, but it must have still been a scary moment. I'm sure the skid marks are brown ones as well as black ones somewhere. And of course, there's plenty of sausage curbs at our next track for ITC, which you'll be able to watch live here on Monday. Or actually, hopefully, some cars will still be running. But now down to 7/10 of a second, Ranieri and Rowland. Roy Schroeten's been overtaken then by Jordan Weeks for 14th and 15th. Oh, careful, Roy. Gets out of the way. Does the same for Nick Rowland as well. And then next up is Jordan. And then I think they've got a little bit of a breather on lap 57 of 66. And Nick's got to move quickly because it won't be too long before his tyres will start to go through the CAC phase as well. Rowland wants this win. Now is the time to siege it. PSG do not have to deal with any more drama. Bidek is in third and he's got 10 seconds now over Redshaw. Lewis appears to be dropping back on these prime compound tyres. Baldy is well clear of Hamnet. I say well clear, it's about another 10-15 seconds difference between those two. Rowland leaps slightly over the curbs on the exit of Campsite. Canapino then still in 8th for Nordzone. Ben Horrell is 9th for Red Archer. Lee Morris 10th for Kernel. Kieran Ryan 11th for Phoenix. 12th is Petter Katter for Torrent. Ben De Vries 13th for ST. Roy Schroeten is in 14th for Woods. Jason Muscat now 15. What's happened to Jordan Weeks then? He must have gone off the track or something. Yeah, he done a 127, so Jordan Weeks must have spun somewhere, and that's lost him points. And now Jason Muscat's about to overtake Roy Schroeten, is he? For 14th and 15th. No, ran out of road. I don't see that one taking too long though, as Rowland's now within half a second. Got my cross eyes going on. In fact, don't need them. Here comes Muscat on Schroeten for 14th and 15th, and Roy gets out of the way. Tommy Hagen wants to unlap himself. I don't know if he'll be able to, but that is Muscat up to 14th. Schroeten down to 15th. That's that job done. Back up the front. That is Nick Rowland having a good look. As Lee Morris is in the pits with 10 to go. Not sure what's gone on there, but Lee has had to pit again. And that effectively has given Kaza back 11th position. Pernell's loss is Torrent's gain. And who is going to gain victory in this Spanish Grand Prix? It has been a simmering race. Oh! How do we say Petter's name? Is it Peter? Oh. Petter Corsa. What? I'd rather... Apparently, Petter is Petter Corsa, not Petter Casa. But I'm going to go Casa. Because it's got lots of A's in. Mark Fuller, Mark Fuller! Oh, dearie me, that did not go well for Ranieri. Rowland's going through, and Ranieri's gone a little bit deep here. This is the real time then that Nick Rowland is right back onto the back of Giuseppe Ranieri. It only takes one issue, and Horrell's the next one up to be lapped for the second time as well. It only takes one issue, and this now gives Nick Rowland, oh, he's had a bit of a tardy exit from the chicane. Ooh, Horrell there. Gets out of the way nicely. Apparently, Mr. Panisi has just said that a double A equals an A with a hat on the top equals an O. That's a Corsa. I'll just call you Pete. I feel that that is safer. Not Pete. Go down the pub with Pete. Peter Kay. Oh no. I don't want to have that. Tell you what I did watch actually yesterday. I watched the Harry Hill movie. I hit a new low. It's Kieran Ryan. Ooh, he's having to wake him up, isn't he? Oh, they both run off wide. Is Kieran trying to unlap himself there? No. God for that. So, instead of fighting each other, they're just having to fight round, and there's another battle going on ahead, I can see. It's the next two that they've got to get round. I don't know if it's just two sorting each other out, but there's Tommy Hagen's just half spun. But again, Ranieri still ahead of Rowland. Ryan is not with them, he's just in the background of that. Still pulling away from David Viaduct despite all this. 14 seconds the gap. Big Yaya 42 says double stacking from CSG Racing, typically Redshaw being screwed by his teammate. I feel like Double Yaya is probably a Redshaw fan in disguise, because we get that every race. Daddy Redshaw. This time it's Rowland locking up into the hairpin. Now that he's there, he doesn't seem to be able to move with it. Ben de Vries, next one up to be lapped. No one troubles an apex. As they cross the line, is the gap over a second? Yeah. First time that's gone over a second. Has Rowland's tyres started to fall off? Ranieri's trying to lap Sven de Vries. He's probably done the most gentlemanly amount of job so far that we've seen for a little while. He knows there's points at stake in that car, and he's currently in 12th. Where Kieran Ryan has had to pit again. Surprised me the weird strategies that's actually gone on in this race. Especially for what's supposed to be the top tier. Anyway. So, it's coming to the end of lap 63, then we've got 3 more laps to go. No Chandok moments, please. Into that final chicane. It's back down to 6-7 tenths of a second, so maybe Rowland's just had a little bit of a breezer. Get the temperature of the car down, get the tyres back into how he likes it. Maybe go for one last stabbaroo. 16.5 clear now of Viaduct, Redshaw, Boldy, Hamnet. Tell you what, great result for Hawkeye if they can continue where they are. Hawkeye have had one of those slightly awkward starts to the year. They're 9th in the Constructors. They've only scored 15 points. Boldy has had a torrid lack of finishes. And Cantonen has barely had anything either. Neither has Hamlet, actually. In fact, they've all had dramas, but they've barely got home, and that is why they are so down. They're 9th in the Constructors, and this double top 6 result will boost them no end. They'll fly past Bodball, probably Nordjone as well. Yeah, 1.3 off them now for Mr. Nick Rowland. 2 to go. It's not looking like this is going to be Nick's attack. Finish things off. Other good news stories, apart from the Hawkeye effort. Tom Vandervoort, 7th position. I think he'll be relatively pleased with that, to gain points back on his teammate who has led him for the entirety of 2014 so far. Canapino, points for Nordjone. Again, Canapino has had 2 8ths, and this will be his 3rd. So, if nothing, if not consistent. Ben Horrell, the Red Archer. That'll be his first points. First race, 2014. Casa doing the best that he can with a car that is quite frankly a bit clapped out. Of course, if ST can hold on, that 12th position will do them no end of good. Kieran Ryan, if he can get that 13th, that'll be his 3rd point scoring finish in a row. Troughton in 15th place has scored all of Wood's points so far. Danny Asbury yet to finish a race so far in 2014. How much longer will that streak go on for? Final lap then. Seppi Ranieri has got Harley Hamnet conveniently in between them. 2.1 now the gap to Nick Rowland. I would say the tyres have gone. Maybe we should call Nick Rowland a stripper and tell him exactly how long he should burn the rubber for, because that unfortunately has fallen a little bit flat. And Giuseppe Ranieri held off then Nick Rowland's advances on a different tyre strategy to his teammates, and despite issues comes around the final corner and takes the Superleague 2014 Spanish Grand Prix. Well done, Giuseppe Ranieri, for a 1-2 for Midnight Motorsports. Nick Rowland comes through 2nd. Well done, man. A 3-4 it will be for CSG as David Fiduk comes right round the final corner for another podium for the Englishman. He's not been off it yet, although it's only his 2nd, 3rd. Lewis Redshaw then 4th position, after following around his teammate all the race and then getting it wrong in the pits. Gergo Boldi, well done to Boldi to come home in 5th position. That will equal his best finish, and in fact his only finish this year at Bahrain. It's a great stuff for the Hawkeye driver. Harley Hamnet 6th position, 1 lap down. That is his first finish, or his best finish of the year, and his first point of the year actually as well. Tom Vandervoort will be 7th for lap down. Canapino 8th for lap down. Ben Horrell 9th, 2 laps down. Casa comes home in 10th. Lee Morris 11th, 2 laps down, dragging the Kerno home. 3 laps down for Sven de Vries, ahead of Kieran Ryan, Jason Muscat, and Roy Schroten grabs the final point for Woods. 3 laps down. Your other finishers: Jordan Weeks 16th, Tommy Hagen 17th, 4 laps down. Mark Fuller did come home 15th and 18th and 5 laps down, not 15 laps down, Simon. That's just harsh. Your retirements: Tommy Kovanen crashed out lap 42. Bart de Vos disconnected lap 26. Jim Parisis crashed out lap 22. Boyd Bryson crashed out lap 16. Mikhail Tumala parked it with crash damage on lap 11. Toby Davis crashed out lap 10. Kenny Lybeer disconnected on lap 3. Rude Easterbeek and Danny Asbury were taken out at the start line melee, and also failing to get even to the grid itself was Mindergaus Columbus. All of the sadness, says Jordan Weeks. I'm not surprised, mate. You couldn't have gone much lower to avoid getting points paying finishes, but he still managed it. Anyway, that was that then. Not one of the finest, dramaticest races of GPVWC's career, but I would certainly say that it's the kind you'd put in a slow cooker and gently simmer whilst drinking a port. Well, we see if everyone joins us in the commentary box. We do have 2 of the podium drivers here with us already. That was quick shenanigans. Didn't even have time to get on my Sunday best. You're just going to have to find me in my birthday suit. We'll start off with 3rd placed man David Fiduk, who grabs yet another podium. You can't stay off the bloody thing.
Yeah, it's not so bad at the moment, is it?
Not bad at all, not bad at all. Talk to us about the race, because it looked like he was having some interesting battles with the Midnight guys, and then was, don't know if you witnessed it, a bizarre thing with your pit strategy with your teammate. Talk to us about those 2 points.
Noticed it. I had my team boss shouting down my ear, mate, to get hurry up. But yeah, the start was mega. I didn't have any wheel spin. It's the first proper start I've had all through testing. I've just had so much wheel spin, but managed to work that up and take the lead. Yeah, sadly, I knew the Midnights were miles quicker, so while I could hold them off while looking after my tyres, once they got the run down the straight, there was no point fighting. And yeah, just basically just had to look after my own car and try and stay ahead of Lewis for 3rd. That was the race, basically. Yeah.
And why did you do the stopping at the same time? Because it ended up causing Lewis an issue. What was the reasoning behind that? Because it just seemed like a really unnecessary thing to add stress to your lives for.
Well, it wasn't the fact that the pit stops were the same time. He overshot the pit entry, locked up, and went straight past. So we had a reverse. Yeah, we practiced them a lot, so there's the first issue we had. But yeah, it does cause problems. But you know, the tires are like on the limit. I mean, once you get under 20%, they hit the wall, and you've got no choice to pit. And me and Lewis, you know, we're the same speed, and those tyres are exactly the same as well. You know, we're dead even on everything at the moment. So, yeah, it's all down to the pit stop. And none of us wants to be last in, I guess, because we'll lose a couple of seconds on the undercut.
But still championship leader.
Still, is it? Yeah, I didn't know. I thought Pepe would have grabbed that one today, but yeah, still going into Monaco. That's good one. Yeah, we got. Hopefully we got an update coming from Monaco, because I love that track. I want to try and win that if I can. If not, then another podium would do fine. I was hoping Nick could grab a late win off Pepe there, but he killed his tyres. So yeah, Championship League going into Monaco is good for me.
Just by a singular point. So we'll keep a beady eye on that. Thank you very much, David. Go off and enjoy. And I'm sure, actually, the man enjoying the moment probably the most, Mr. Nick Rowland. Well done, mate.
That was awesome. I really, really enjoyed that. I'm so happy with 2nd place, and just to only be a few seconds behind Pepe as well. I tried my hardest to get past him, but the dirty air was too much. And I had to admit, I got too locked onto the rear of his car, and should have changed my line into the final chicane and may have been able to do something. But yeah, that was absolutely awesome.
So tell us a bit about your season, actually, because you weren't driving. Then probably about 30 seconds before practice for the first race, in your pop, done a cracking result, and then there's a lot of talk about, well, then who stays in there long term? Who does this? Who does that? It must be very difficult to then pull off a great result for someone that is so highly regarded with all of that pressure going on, being a team boss and wearing all of the hats. Talk to us about that and how you've had to deal with that.
Yeah, the start of the season was a little bit chaotic, to be honest with you. Jumping in the car with barely like 10 laps worth of practice before Melbourne. I just did everything I could there, and then more than anything, it's been kind of learning the car. So the first few races have been quite difficult. I have been learning the car, and it's a different style of setup that's required, and it's taken me until now to feel any sort of comfort with the car, if you like. After Lucas got his job, and we decided that it would be me that stays on in the car, because at the time Alex was pretty settled in Super Cup and going forwards with that. So I've just kind of developed and trying to build off and work with Giuseppe as much as I can to learn about the car and get more and more out of the car. I am pleased with today. There is still more to come though. I'm a little bit weak in Sector 3, as you guys probably saw, in trying to get close, but I am massively proud of myself and the team. It was really, really awesome job today.
Excellent. And also, just to cap off on the old stand-ins Zaroos, that moves you from 7th to 5th. So,
Nice.
And quite nicely behind. Root didn't score today, so you won't be too far off of him. That must kind of make you think, as yourselves and CSG kind of pull off into little mini tier 1, that actually you are now can be genuinely considered as part of the 4-horse gallop for the line, maybe.
We'll see. Obviously, unfortunately, due to the nature of the start of my season, I'm quite a way behind. Pepe is a phenomenally quick driver, so it's just a question if I can get him and actually take points off him. I was not too far off today. It's just a question if I can do it and if I can achieve it. But I certainly hope that I can. We will just have to see if it is achievable at some point. But in terms of developing the car, the setup, and the team around us, and getting some points back on CSG, then it's been a really positive day.
Great stuff, great stuff. Well, I take it Giuseppe has already gone off down to the local pizzeria, and I think we should all go and join him. So thank you ever so much to Simon Melhoish, who as ever does cameraman extraordinaire, and great stuff to have him on board as always. You join us on Monday for the International Touring Car Championships. That will kick off at about 8ish, if not a smidgy bit before, and we'll be back in 2 weeks' time for Open Wheelers with Formula Challenge on the Tuesday, Super Cup on the Wednesday, and then we'll be back with Super League on a Thursday. And it's Monaco, baby, jewel in the crown. We will be rolling around in all of that jewellery. You lot take care. We'll see you again soon. Bye for now.